Okay, so this is the SEI quadcopter. It's known as the DJI Phantom quadcopter. It's got quite a big lithium-ion battery in that gives you a flight time, well, the maximum flight time is about 25 minutes, but with a safety margin that's about 20. And it carries a GoPro camera on the front to allow you to take either videos or stills, depending on what you want. And it's on a controlled gimbal, so you can adjust the angle of the camera in flight to get the shot that you want. The camera's got a wireless connection to a tablet, so you can actually see what you're filming as you're flying and actually control what the camera's doing that way as well. So that's what we've got in here. So we're working at the Arboretum Trust out at Castle Howard, and the task that they'd like us to help with is they've got a database of all their trees that are in the Arboretum. What they haven't actually got is a map to locate where those trees are. So as a starting point of completing that survey, we've been collecting some high resolution air photography to stitch together to make a really detailed map of the Arboretum, and based on that we can actually go round to the trees that are all tagged to locate where they are on the ground based on the photograph, to link the database to actually the location of the trees on the ground in the Arboretum. So that's what we've been up to. So you start the motors up, and then if you're happy, well, I think there's a variety of things. So I've already been talking in the EPSRC co-motion project, and what we're thinking there is to actually try and use this to fly the routes that older people use within towns, so that we can film the hazards and the issues that they're confronting from above, to get a better feel or to be able to communicate those problems maybe to other people. Then there's the option as well of taking off the GoPro and maybe fitting some other kind of sensors on the front to either record different types of pollutants or maybe look at things in different spectrums of light, so looking at infrared perhaps, or looking at heat from buildings.
Hi everybody, thanks for watching. Going to go on my very first real crop scouting adventure here with my DJI Phantom and my GoPro Hero 3 Plus. So let's see what we can see. We're looking at some winter wheat planted in the fall of 2013. This is April 2014. We're going along the edge of the field here. That field on the right is ours as well. It's just not planted with anything at the moment. So I got this little quadcopter because I think it's really going to improve our crop scouting and let us see obviously things from a different perspective. I think we're going to learn a lot about our fields and be able to make some actionable decisions to improve the way we farm. You can probably already see here variability across the field that you would not notice if you were standing on the ground at the edge of the field, maybe even if you were walking through the field. Kind of a standard scouting practice is to go to 5 random points in a field, see what you can see. Now, if you're out in a field walking, just because of your perspective, you might be 5 feet from something and not notice it. Say if you're out in tall corn rows or something like that. Here, we can now go up and easily spot variances out in fields, whether it's crops in the field or if we're doing it when there's not crops out there. We might be able to look at wet spots and different things, or we have a problem with drainage not working. We might be able to pinpoint where we need to go look for the source of the problem. So here I'm just trying to kind of see how low I can get without landing the Phantom. It sometimes kind of likes to land itself somewhat when you get real close to the ground. So at least I'm finding out I can get really close to the crop canopy as well as plenty high above it. 400 feet is the limit I'm supposed to stay under, but you can see an awful lot of acres from 400 feet. So I'm just kind of panning around here, taking a closer look at the wheat. You can see it looks a lot different up close than from above, but above gives you a real good way to compare one area to another. Head back up here. Move across the rest of the field. I've also got the GoPro set to take stills while I'm flying around, not just video. Kind of nice I can do it at the same time. Still of the up close there. Looking over the whole field, so that'd be something we can kind of study. Maybe compare to yield in the future. Can see some wheel tracks there from equipment. Can see compaction problems.
Robot boats and drones, the future of disaster relief is happening right here in our backyard. Experts from the National Weather Service, Texas Task Force 1, the National Guard, the American Red Cross, and several other first responders were on hand as they learned how drones could be used to prepare and respond to all types of flooding. First responder Stephen Rutherford says technology like this can help save lives.
That will assist us with doing our recons of flooded areas to find, victims that are stuck on roofs.
Dr. Robin Murphy says there's one main reason they're focused on this specific disaster.
For the next 2 years working on flooding, because that's the #1 disaster in the United States, in the world.
Now during a flood, instead of putting an actual human in the water, they can use this remote operated vehicle. What it'll do is it'll keep humans in the loop, but out of harm's way. And by providing images of what's below the surface, First responders can identify hazardous materials before sending humans to the rescue.
Usually when hurricanes come in, they shut us down, they'll shut the beach down. We can take some of this knowledge and go out there and recon the beaches and stuff before we even got our guys to go in there and start searching buildings.